thank you for joining me here today. I'm Shika and I used to work as a counselor, but now I create done-for-you coaching workbooks and coaching masterclasses for coaches like you. And today we're going to talk about productivity and how we can remain productive without burning out. And the reason why I feel motivated to create this episode is because I was following this productivity vlogger for a while, and I truly admire her tenacity and her resilience in being productive and doing a lot of productive activities every single day. So she is a vlogger. So as a self-employed person, we know that there are many tasks that we have to do every single day. The tasks are endless, and as a vlogger herself, what she does is she crams every single minute of the day with business tasks, work tasks, self-improvement tasks, and things like that. So at first it was incredibly motivating and incredibly inspiring, but over time I suspect, or rather I feel that this intense routine may not be very sustainable in the long run for many of us. And it breaks my heart a little bit when I see other young girls. Well, I call them young because I'm in my late 30s. So when I see other young girls commenting on these vloggers' videos saying things like, you are living my dream life. I wish I can be as productive as you. You're slaying productivity. You are slaying in life, and all those comments. And I feel like I have to tell them that this kind of intense routine is not for everybody. And to give credit to that vlogger, some people actually thrive in a routine like that, but not everybody can. Some of us may actually burn out if we follow a routine like that for just 2 days. And what this vlogger does is that other than cramming every single minute of the day with work tasks and business tasks, she likes to multitask as well. So if she's cooking, she's listening to a podcast or a self-improvement podcast, or if she's doing her makeup or eating, she will be listening to a self-improvement audiobook, So she's always working in that sense. She's never off. Her mind seems never to be switched off. And if she's not at home doing work, she's outside, doing meetings and all that. So this kind of routine may not be sustainable for many of us in the long run. But for you, if you are someone who thrives with that kind of intensity, then good for you. So anyway, today I'm going to share with you how we can be productive and also self-loving at the same time. Tip number one that I'm going to share with you is to know your peak work time. So this is the period of the day, probably stretches about 3 to 4 hours. This is the time when you are most creative, most inspired, most motivated, and most, I would say, I can't think of the word right now, but basically you are at your most productive state during this period of time. So it usually stretches between 3 to 4 hours, and you need to know when your peak work time is. For some of us, it's in the morning. For some of us, it's in the afternoon. For some of us, it's late at night. So you need to know your body. You need to know your energy. You need to know your time. And you need to know yourself very well for this. And the reason why you need to know your peak work time is that you can actually schedule really intense work-related tasks at this period of time. So for example, if you need to do something which requires a lot of thinking, strategizing, you can slot these tasks during your most productive period of time. For example, if you need to write a script for a podcast or a YouTube video, or if you need to create a product for your clients, or if you need to strategize something, for example, a sales funnel, or if you need to write emails to your subscribers, for example, all these tasks require strategy and thinking. This is when your peak work time, your most productive time, is when you should, or rather, ideally, you should schedule all these tasks during that period of time, because that's when you are at your most productive. So leverage on your peak work time. And you might be asking me, what should I do during the other periods of the day? Well, when you are less quote unquote productive, what you can do is do other administrative tasks, maybe pinning Pinterest images, maybe designing simple images for your Instagram feed, something that does not require much thinking. So that's tip number one. Another tip that I can share with you to be productive without burning out is to leverage on your strengths and your interests. If you see a vlogger or a business or a coach or another business person vlogging twice a week or releasing podcast episodes every day, or I don't know, creating reels every day, there's a very high chance that they enjoy doing these things. So they enjoy being on video, they enjoy speaking into a mic, they enjoy writing, and they leverage on their interests and their strengths to be productive. So naturally, if you're someone who is good with writing, who is a natural writer, you're going to take maybe 15 minutes to craft a script for your podcast episode, maybe. Whereas someone who is not a natural at writing, who does not enjoy writing, may take about 3 hours to craft a podcast episode. So you can see where your strengths are and make use of them. Be aware of your strengths and your interests and outsource the rest. If you're not very good with numbers, perhaps you can outsource your accounting work to someone else and focus on what you are good at. And that is one way for you to be productive. If it takes, you can think, or rather you can ask yourself this question: what can you do quickly, which others take hours to do? So that is something you can think about with regards to being productive. Another tip I want to share with you is to plan your days at least 24 hours before it. So what I mean is that plan 24 hours ahead. Well, planning takes a lot of mental energy. I'm not sure if you realize that planning strategizing takes a lot of your mental energy. So if you plan your days at least 24 hours beforehand, all you need to do today is to just execute. And that makes you incredibly productive. You are not wasting hours and your mental energy and mental capacity planning what to do. You are just executing today. You've done all the planning and all that mental work yesterday. So that is one way for you to be incredibly productive. And when you plan, you need to be really specific. So for example, if you're writing an email to your subscribers today, you want to write maybe 3 emails to your subscribers. You want to batch write your emails. Well, yesterday you should be writing in very specific detail what you're going to write in each and every email, so that today you are just executing. You're just writing and executing, just writing and scheduling them out. So that is how we can be productive, which is to plan ahead with as much specific details as possible. And another tip I want to share with you, which is a little bit unconventional. I wasn't sure if I want to include this tip in this episode. And that is to follow your natural rhythm, your flow, and your intuition. This requires a lot of trust, and it also requires you to be very in touch with your inner voice and to listen to your inner voice. So what some people would do, if they have a lot of trust in the universe, in God, or whatever you call God or the universe, what they do is that they are going to wake up and they will ask themselves, what should I do today? They will ask the inner voice or the intuition, what should I do for my business today? Sometimes they will feel the urge or the nudge to write a podcast episode today. Sometimes they'll feel the urge to write a blog post today. Sometimes they may feel the urge to write emails to their followers today. So every day can be different. This requires a lot of trust, like I mentioned, and it requires a lot of practice as well. And some of you may go against this and say, well, when we are running a business, we need to strategize, and there are tasks that we need to do. There are marketing tasks we need to do. We need to create our products and courses and services. So this is not practical. Some of you may say that. And I agree to a certain extent, but at the same time, when we follow our intuition or our inner voice, or if we follow our natural rhythm, what happens is that in the bigger scheme of things, certain things don't matter. So in the bigger scheme of things, maybe you have, for example, let's say you have this calling or this urge to write an email to your followers today, when your initial plan was to create a course. If you follow your intuition and you write an email to your followers today, there is a chance that in the bigger scheme of things, it is more helpful for them. And it's also helpful for you to move your business forward in the bigger scheme of things, like I said. So in future, maybe that creating your course today may not be very helpful or productive for you today. That's why your intuition or your inner wisdom is nudging you to write an email today, because that will help you today and help your business today and help your people today. So like I said, this technique requires a lot of practice, and it also requires you to know yourself well, to be very in touch with your intuition and your inner voice and your inner wisdom. And basically, your intuition knows what your people want and need, and knows what's best for you in the bigger scheme of things, and it will guide you accordingly. And I know that sometimes our logical mind will always tell us, we need to write 3 emails a week. We need to post a reel every single day. We need to do this, we need to do that to market our business. And that is incredibly helpful, because we are, after all, in what I call a 3D reality. So we need to do all the 3D marketing tasks. At the same time, you can also include your intuition and your natural rhythm and flow as well, if you feel ready to do so. And it can help you a lot in being productive and doing only the needle moving activities. The next tip that I want to share with you is to let go of your perfectionism, because perfectionism slows us down and it definitely affects our productivity. If you're a perfectionist, there is a very high chance that you prefer to do all sorts of research before you start doing something new. Maybe before you start creating a new course, or before you want to write a new ebook, for example, you may want to do all the research under the sun before you start writing something, because you want to give the best to your clients and your customers. That's what we tell ourselves. We want to give them the best, and we want to produce our best work. But the thing is, we are always learning, and we are always works in progress. So the thing about letting go of perfectionism is to be okay that you're doing your best with what you have at this point of time, and to trust that the work you produce is going to be very helpful to your clients and customers at this point of time. And it's good to bear in mind that making mistakes is how we learn. So there is no way for us to create the perfect book, or the perfect course, or the perfect offer, or the perfect program. Over time, we will always be tweaking our products and services. We will always be tweaking and making them better. So as we make mistakes, that's how we learned. And it's also good for us to remember that the most successful people in this world make more mistakes than we do. So just try something new. Trust that what you produce with what you have at this very moment in time is going to be helpful to someone. And as long as you're 1 step or 2 steps ahead of people, you can teach them something. So that's how we can reduce or soften our perfectionism. All right, so I hope that this video has been helpful. If you want a done-for-you productivity masterclass to release to your clients and to your audience and to your customers, you can go to the link in my description box, and you can edit the slides, edit the workbook, and also edit the transcript to suit your audience, or you can use the done for you masterclass as it is. It's ready to go. So you can just, if you purchase it, you can immediately launch that masterclass right now and sell the replays. Or you can add your own voice to it. You can add your own slides. You can add a few slides of your own. You can add an extra lesson. You can add an extra worksheet if you want. It's editable with Canva. So if you want to launch your own productivity masterclass today, you can get my Done For You masterclass right in the description box. That's all for today. Thank you. Bye.